For a game as simple as Tetris, how it came into the world has more levels into it than a dream scene in Inception. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam here with my brief thoughts on Tetris. This is currently streaming on Apple TV Plus. It was directed by John S. Baird and it starred Taron Egerton, and it is based on the true story of how we got Tetris, one of the most popular video games of all time. Egerton plays Hank Rogers, a video game programmer who discovers Tetris at a video game convention and is like, yeah, I need to get some of this action. The only problem is that the rights situation is just a whole bunch of bleh. Long story short, it involves a third-party outfit named Robert Stein, played by Toby Jones, the KGB and the Soviet Union in general, and a UK media company who wants it for their own rights because, well, they secretly need it because they may or may not be bankrupt. I love little obscure true stories like this. They just appeal to me, I guess. And when I saw the trailer for this, I was very excited because Apple TV Plus has a pretty good standard of quality with what they choose for their platform. Ted Lasso and The Tragedy of Macbeth are just two examples. So I was very excited. However, I thought the movie was just okay. I definitely had some problems with it, but overall, I'd still had fun. It's fun but flawed. And really, the biggest compliment that I could give to this movie is that I was riveted, or I found the movie riveting from scene one, just from where Hank Rogers steps into this situation from the beginning to where it ends. It can give you whiplash, but it's fascinating because different parties want Tetris for different reasons. There's a developer who just developed it because he liked to make games in his spare time, but couldn't make any money off of it because this was the USSR in the late 80s. It wasn't the best time for anyone in that particular part of the world. You had media companies trying to get it because they needed the money. You had Nintendo trying to buy it to beef up their catalog for this little thing called the Game Boy that was coming down the road. So it was a lot of moving parts. Kind of like the Tetris video game itself. And I loved that. I thought it was a little confusing at times, but then the movie does a good job of saying these people need it for these reasons, and these people need it for these reasons. So the motives were pretty clear. So it was pretty easy to follow, for the most part. Taron Egerton is honestly the best part of the movie from the acting department. I really enjoy him as an actor, period. But seeing as though he went from playing like as recently as like Elton John in the Rocket Man biopic, going from that to this, like it's a pretty big swing in terms of he's playing an American that's living in Japan and he has to do an American accent. But the American accent I thought was really solid. Rogers is in this for his own reasons because he's basically bet everything on this Tetris thing working out. And taking no for an answer is not an option at this point. And the movie really does a good job of selling that and driving that home. Kind of a strength and a weakness of the movie is how the movie really makes you feel like, yeah, being in the USSR in this time period must have had to suck. Because this movie really portrays it as Tetris was created in Russia, and Russia really wants it to stay there, even though they probably wouldn't do all that much with it. But it's theirs, so they want it. And the movie does a really good job of selling that. However, the goons they get to represent the USSR were beyond cartoony. You could have just replaced all their dialogue with,
"Welcome to the Gulag."
But on the other side of the coin, there were several tense moments there, so it's a bit of a mixed bag in that department. By far, the biggest weakness of the movie is just how a lot of the exposition is delivered. There's a good 15 minutes of the movie, in the first 15 minutes to be specific, where we learn how Hank Rogers found Tetris and how he supposedly thought he bought the rights, but then he didn't. And it's just a whole big thing of where basically there's a guy who represents a bank, and Hank is telling him this story, and he's like, "So what you're saying is it's very much a if it were acted out in a stage play, that's how it would be." And it was very exposition dump-y. Like you were literally reading off of the back of their trading cards. Like it was that bad at certain points. But in the grand scheme, the movie is flawed. However, I did enjoy it, and I wanted to see Tetris get out into the wider world, even though, yes, we all know that that is a thing that did indeed happen. Overall, I am going to give it a good rating. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's not perfect. I do have problems with it, but I think it's very well done for the most part, and I give this a modest recommendation. So what did you all think of Tetris if you have seen it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to read what you have to say. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. If you like this video, you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.